What's good, y'all? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Marcus Ferris from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. As always, if you could, please hit the like button, subscribe button, notification button. Make sure you stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesdays videos. Welcome you to the Long Car Rock Chronicles episode. I think this is 33? It's 33 or 34. I don't know. I swear I be losing track with these videos. The fact that I'm still doing this 30 plus episodes later is pretty cool. And the fact that you guys are still vibing with this is also pretty cool. And if you're continuing to vibe with this, make sure you share this video. So this is going to be a continuation of last week's episode. So last week, we were talking about dating and, kind of navigating through the dating scene. I'm going to continue this with what's going to be probably a lot shorter than the last video, but some important points that I missed that I wanted to talk about last video, but I couldn't talk about it because it was just, the video was over 30 minutes. But a lot of you guys have liked it, and thank you for those who checked it out, who commented and all that good stuff. But yeah, today we're going to talk about navigating through dating and what to do to put yourself in more favorable situations when it comes to dating. Now, some of these are going to be ideologies that I've developed over the past couple of years. Some of you guys might disagree. Some of you guys might fully agree. But as always, regardless if you agree or disagree, leave a comment below, respectfully, of course. And let me know what you guys think. So, one ideology of mine that has changed within dating is dating multiple people at one time. Now, here's what I mean by dating multiple people at one time. And if you're not that type of person, cool, because I think in recent years, I just became that type of person. I'm not talking about a relationship unless you practice being in multiple relationships, which if that's you and you and your partner or partners agree, then hey, y'all do what y'all do. I'm very much monogamous. So when I'm in an official relationship with a woman, it's just me and her. Ain't nobody else involved. Can't nobody else get in. But when it comes to dating, I used to have the mindset of I'm going to just, date one person at a time. And if it don't work out, I'll move on to the next, and so on and so forth, and to the next, and to the next, and to the next. And granted, I don't think that's a bad thing to do, but there's a little bit of a hole in that. And the reason why I say that is because you don't know if that person is dating just you or dating other people as well. And granted, I'm not saying that you have to look at every single situation like that, because I think there are some people that you just instantly lock in and y'all both just know y'all want each other and don't want nobody else. The genuine desire is so strong. And that most certainly does happen. And if it does happen, hey, stick with that person. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard these days to find special people. But if you're still kind of testing the waters and you're unsure about certain things, have a lineup. And I know y'all like Marcus. You in the past, you talked about not having a roster and so on and so forth. And the third, and yes, I have. I most certainly have. But I don't know. My mindset's changed a little bit now. And I think sometimes you are allotted to have a change within your mindset. And I think the reason why my mindset has changed is because I've learned to not put all my eggs in one basket, if you will. I've learned to, I guess you could say, test the waters before certain things take place. And I'm not saying that you always have to test the waters. I'm not saying that by any means whatsoever. Come on, sir. If you want to get over, get over. But what I am saying is make sure that you have enough data before you make a decision. Because that's one of the things that dating is all about. It's about collecting data. It's about seeing, who's the best fit for you. Now, I will say this. When it comes to collecting data, I'm not saying that you necessarily should be doing 1,000,001 things with 1,000,001 people. You ain't got to be physically intimate with every single person you date. I would not recommend that at all. I wouldn't even necessarily recommend that you go on multiple dates with every person that you date, because you might find early on that you're not compatible. But don't put all your eggs in one basket until you two have had a conversation about being exclusive. And I think one of the things that, you probably should ask if you feel like you're getting serious with someone is, hey, are you seeing other people? Right? And if somebody asks you that question, by the way, answer truthfully. And if you ask that question, be ready for the response that you might get. Right? So, if I ask a woman, is she seeing other people? And she tells me yes, I then have to make a decision of, am I going to play may the best man win? Or am I going to fall back and say, okay, cool, I'll just move on to somebody else. But you got to be prepared. And then if somebody asks you that question, be straight up. Because you never know. They might be okay with that. Or you might find somebody that's like, nah, I'm good. Maybe they are on that vibe where they're just talking to one person at a time. And that's perfectly fine. But I always say give people a fair opportunity to see if they want to pursue something with you. Honesty is the best policy. And I know some people might say, well, you shouldn't say too much to a man or you shouldn't say too much to a woman. And that I agree, especially in the early stages. But however, honesty, you can never go wrong with that. Because let me tell you something. If honesty ended up putting you in a position to where the person no longer liked you, then guess what? You just got that much closer to the person you're supposed to be with. Because I think if you're honest with the individual that you're really supposed to be with, things will work out in due time. And you got to also understand, and this is another thing about dating and navigating through the dating market. Dating is competitive. It is very much competitive. Fellas, I'm going to say we really got to compete, right? Ladies have to compete too, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to say why fellas have to compete a bit harder. It's a little bit harder for us. Not saying it's not hard for ladies, let me just make that clear, but it's a little bit harder for us. Because even though in a lot of environments there are more ladies than gentlemen, so you would think it would be easy to pick from, it doesn't take much for a woman to get a man. Now, ladies, before y'all start being like, you don't know us and blah, 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 and quality this and quality that. I ain't talking about quality versus quantity right now. We'll talk about that a little later. I am simply talking about just the aspect of getting a man, right? And the reason why I bring this up is because I want people to understand that, ladies, let's be real. If there was anybody that you wanted to have right now, you would just take anybody, even if you weren't attracted to them. Let me tell you what you would need to do. Check your DMs. Check your inbox. I can guarantee you that 75%, I ain't gonna say 100%, but 75% of y'all got a man trying to holler at you. Again, he might not be quality. He might not be quality at all, but I can guarantee you that much. Men, we gotta work. Like, ladies, your value was there when you were born. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. Your value was there when you were born. For us, we gotta work for our value. Now, I'm not saying that women don't have to work on certain things, because yes, everybody, both men and women, have to work on themselves in order to stay relevant, in order to compete. Nothing is automatically given to you. As much as people say, well, stuff is just given to the ladies. No, not all the time. Because the thing about it is, for everybody, men and women, beauty and handsomeness fades. So what you gonna do then? You gotta have something. Gots to have something. So these are things I always want people to think about, right? When it comes to dating, you gotta compete, which means you gotta always be becoming the best version of yourself. For my fellas, it's becoming more masculine. It's becoming more confident in yourself. It is, improving your financial status, improving class where you're at, improving, your looks in terms of the way you dress, the way you groom yourself. For my ladies, it's about building on your femininity. It's about being more loving. It's about being caring. It's about family values. Well, it's about family values for both. But I say family values especially for ladies because you guys are on the nurturing side. You know what I'm saying? There's different ways to improve. And I don't want anybody to say that it's easier for women to improve than men or men to improve for women than women. Because the bottom line is at the end of the day, it can be challenging for both. Because you got to do that on top of other things that you might be involved in or involved with, right? So improvement is a key necessity in order for you to navigate through the dating scene. Again, you have to be competitive. Prepared to compete. And for my people who are like, I ain't never had to compete. I always got what I wanted. It's not going to always be like that. Especially for the person that you're supposed to be with. I believe that will come easy. In the sense of they will naturally be attracted to you, but you still have to work to keep that person. Because the hard part is not getting that person. The hard part is keeping that person. Remember, like I mentioned last episode, dating is essentially two people navigating with each other from two different lives to make it copacetic. It's not an easy thing to do at all. Again, like I mentioned in my last video, you could be the same culture, same ethnicity. You could have the same likes, same dislikes, and it's still going to be challenging because there's going to be something that's going to be different that's going to challenge you guys. And it might not necessarily be relationship threatening, but it is something that will have to be addressed, right? Another way in which people have to navigate through the dating scene is you have to know when it's time for you to date and when it's time for you to take a break. And this is something that I've learned recently for myself in recent years, right? Now, how do you know when it's time to date, when it's time to take a break? Simple. You need to ask yourself, are you ready to be in an actual relationship or pursue an actual relationship? And the ways that you ask yourself is, ultimately, are you ready for a commitment? If there's any sign that you're not ready for a commitment, you should not be dating people at all. Now, I know some people are like, well, Marcus, what if you want to date casually? Don't even do that. Don't even do that. Because people catch feelings. We all know what date casually means. I don't think I have to address that. But if you don't know, I'll put it to you briefly. It basically means you're not looking for anything serious. It basically means the only thing you're probably going to be doing is physical activities with people. Or if you're not doing physical activities with people, you're literally just dating just to date. You're not dating with intention. And I say again, you got to be careful with that because it just takes one person that's the right person that you didn't expect. Next thing you know, you got feelings. You and your feelings like Drake. You know what I mean? You got to be very mindful of that. So if you're not ready to potentially have a commitment with somebody, you should not be dating. If you just got out of a relationship, especially a long-term relationship, meaning a year plus, you should not be dating. I think I've brought this up before. If you still have a lot of unresolved trauma, you should not be dating. If you can't trust people, you should not be dating. I know I'm hitting some people hard this morning. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Because, trust me, I've had to look at myself in the mirror about some of this stuff too. And you know what this channel's all about. Encouraging you and inspiring you to be a better you. Motivating and encouraging you and inspiring you to be a better you. I can't do that if I'm not telling you the truth. So again, for some of y'all, this is going to hit a little hard. But if it's hitting you, that's a good thing. That means there's something to improve on. Okay? And I always want you guys to improve at all times. That's important. One more thing I'm going to address, and then we're going to go ahead and end this video, because it's so many different things I can talk about, but I don't want these Car Rock Chronicles to be about relationships only. It's other things that we got to get to. You know what I'm saying? Even though I do like talking about relationships, but I don't want to be a dead horse. The last thing I want to talk about real quick when it comes to navigating through the dating scene is understanding when you're wasting your time and when your time is being wasted. I'll talk about with the wasting your time part first. You know there's certain people you should not be entertaining. If you're watching this video, either you're entertaining somebody right now that you don't need to be entertaining, or you have entertained someone that you don't need to be entertaining. And my advice and encouragement to you is to let that man or let that woman go. That's not to say you gotta be rude, ignorant to them or anything like that. No, but what I am saying is focus on people that you know take you seriously. Sometimes we know when people are not taking us seriously. Sometimes we know when people are just they playing the funny game. You know, you got the short game, the long game, and the funny game. The funny game is when you know for a fact that something is up, but you just don't want to admit it. Now, granted, you can play the long game when people are playing the funny game just to keep them in your back pocket. But if you're not a back pocket type of person, you got to be mindful. Because not everybody's a back pocket type of person. Not everybody can pull a back pocket off. I know for the longest, I couldn't pull a back pocket off. I could pull it off now, but I choose not to because I just, that ain't me. So that's something to think about. Also, when it comes to people wasting your time, I'm going to tie that right now. You know, you just got to know. If people are not reciprocating effort, wasting your time. If every time you want to hang out, somebody's busy, and they don't offer an alternative date to you hanging out or going on a date, wasting your time. And let me address that one real quick, because that's a big one, right? Because I said this briefly in the last video, but I'll say it here too. We all got busy lives, right? I remember one time I asked a woman out on a date. And every time I asked her out, she would say she was busy, or she said she went to check her schedule and would never let me know. If a man or a woman is really into you, right, and you try to schedule something with them and they can't schedule that time, I guarantee you they will offer an alternative. Hey, my bad, I got plans on Thursday, but can we plan for maybe next week? Or can we plan for this specific day? They might not always be able to choose a specific day because, you know, who knows what their life is like right now. Maybe it could be crazy, maybe tied up. I know for me, like, for example, I have so much stuff going on. It's hard for me to plan a day with anybody, to do anything, friends, whoever. But they'll at least try to make something happen. It won't just be oh, I'm busy. What's going on? Oh, you know, I wanted to see if you want to go to the movies. Okay, got it. When you see that response, got it, but not no alternative planning, got it. What, instead of it being got it or okay, it should be okay, gotcha. Well, how about we do this thing? That's a person that really wants to see you, not a person that's indifferent. And that's my last point. You don't want to date people or try to date people that are indifferent. You want to date people that actually feel a way about you, a good way, right? We don't do indifferent over here. Because indifferent doesn't mean much of anything, right? Indifferent means I don't care either way. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be indifferent when it comes to the dating process, because you shouldn't get attached to people so soon, or get attached to people you shouldn't be getting attached to, but you don't want somebody who's indifferent about you. There's a difference with that, all right? And that's where we're going to end this video, and I think we're going to, you know, pack it up for the relationship stuff with the long Car Rock Chronicles for a good little minute. We're going to come back to this eventually, but for right now, we're going to take a little break. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As I always say, feel free to share. And again, this is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Much love, y'all. God bless, and we will talk soon.